doing the right thing. I'm winning. I'm just trying not to pay attention to you idiots, man. But like, it's just hard, bro. Like, Lil Yachty, bro. You been whack, my nigga. But you think you saying George Floyd name and trying to use his name in the bar that's gonna make people like your whack ass music, my nigga? That shit weak. Y'all the only era that feel like demeaning the dead and saying that shit is cool, my nigga. It ain't. It ain't. And it's me and the whole Third Ward and the whole Houston, Texas riding behind G, man. Don't ever say his name, bro. Y'all, none of y'all knew G. Nothing about him. But y'all want to say his name for clout. Put a knee up on his neck. That's some weak ass shit, Yachty. But let somebody die in your family. We gonna do a whole skit about it and see how funny it is, bro. Cut that shit out, man. It's only you whack Sambo ass niggas that do shit like that.
Hi, it's Savvy Mike here, and the clip just finished, but before we get into my intro and the rest of this video, I do want to encourage everyone that is watching this video that at least wants to continue to watch my channel. I'm not saying you have to, I'm not saying you do, but please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and the only way I could do that is by getting you to subscribe. And also on the screen, I have my Twitch channel up, where I basically do all of these videos live on Twitch. Like, that's where I do most of the lives at now. So if you want to watch me do these videos live, I'm usually on late at night. No matter what coast you're on, I'm on around the time you're probably asleep. So if you're ever just up with fucking insomnia, you just can't sleep, come on through. I love to chat it up. We could talk about the topics that I have and the clips that I'm playing and reacting to. And I'll also play the game and probably play some 2K, Marvel Rivals, FIFA, Mortal Kombat. A lot goes over here. So please, twitch.tv/SavvyMike96. It is in the description below. I am Savvy Mike in this. I am Savvy Mike TV, and I have Lil Yachty on my screen right now because he's going through a lot of controversy at the moment. A lot of fucking controversy at the moment. And I will play the clip just so y'all can hear the controversy. But I do want to have a quick little intro and discussion on at least the rappers nowadays, because it seems like they're all pulling for straws. None of them can really make a hit or create a hit or make a new poppin' song. So all of them are just throwing shit at the wall. That's what they're all doing. The Lil Yachty's, the Gunnas, the Lil Babies, the DDGs, you name them, they're throwing the shit at the wall. And for Gunna's case, it's sticking. You know, like the shit's sticking. You know, somebody's listening to it. He's throwing the shit at the wall and niggas are catching it and eating it. It's straight shit. Straight shit. But, you know, niggas love it. So, look, you got it on that one. But regardless of it, honestly, I think everyone's starting to realize that these rappers were never as good as, you know, we thought they could be. You know, in the beginning, it was a lot of potential there, you know, for the Kodak Black, for the Lil Uzi Verts, for the Lil Yachty's. And I'm specifically talking about that 2016 XXL freshman class, at least in what I'm talking about now. But none of them really, outside of that, grew to become great artists. Or not even, I wouldn't even necessarily say great artists. They became poppin' artists. They became popular. But music-wise, outside of some mixtapes Lil Uzi Vert got, I can't name you a classic album of his. Outside of a mixtape or two that Lil Yachty got, I can't name a classic album of his. Kodak Black got a classic to me or two. I'm not gonna lie to you. I fuck with the Testimony one and Painting Pictures. Look, love me some Kodak. It's another album. Look, Kodak, I fuck with Kodak. It's just now he's starting to fall off, unfortunately, and which is what's happening with most of them from that 2016 XXL freshman class. They're all just starting to fall off and all just saying a bunch of bullshit. And so now they've come into the culture that we're in at the moment, where they have to sit with streamers and to really promote their music, because unfortunately the music that they're making is not enough. You know, it's crazy to me because they have the popularity, they have the clout, but yet clearly the music isn't good, because even with all of that, no one's listening to it. No one's fucking listening to it. Lil Yachty done dropped the track every week, like I said, throwing shit at the wall and nothing sticking. Not a damn thing sticking. Let's hear the new shit that Lil Yachty's trying to throw at the wall.
Wait for it, wait for it. I TSUS, I'm finna go break the bank for it. Put my knee up on her neck, I went George Floyd. I be tweaking, she get wet, she gon' wait for me. Wait for it, wait for it. All this gold up on my neck, it's our sunshine. Got my name said on the app, fuck it one time. One time, one time, fuck it one time, fuck it one time. Told her bring that pussy back, that shit fun size. I TUS on the map, make her come now.
Yeah, that's ass. We don't even have to continue to listen to the rest. Ass. Number one. Number two, but outside of that, you heard it. You heard the line. Put my knee up on her neck like she's George Floyd or I'm George. I don't know who's George Floyd in the situation. Overall, probably one of the worst rap bars of all time. Why he chooses to preview the music with some of the worst rapping we've ever heard, I don't know. But here we are in life where, honestly, he probably played this because he knew that line would go viral. We're in a rage baiting society, guys. This is what this is. This is rage bait. This is why I don't take Neon seriously. When he says the things he says, there's no defense. It's just his rage bait. Why would I let myself get upset? That's what he wants. He wants me to get mad, hate watch him, hate comment on him, hate do this, hate do that. He wants me to become a hater. That's what rage baiters do. They want you to become haters of them so that you can listen to them and watch them and keep seeing what they're doing. This is nothing but rage bait. But it worked because all of hip-hop, not even all of hip-hop, most of hip-hop, at least the culture, are calling Lil Yachty to the front and saying, hey, that line was fucked up. And my nigga, I don't care if the George Floyd shit happened when it happened. That bar would never work. It just won't. It just never will. Because you're basically saying you're abusing a woman and about to kill her like she's George Floyd. That's what the line is. I don't know. You know, like I said, it's rage bait. That's what it truly is. And it worked, okay? Because apparently Steven Jackson had something to say, and Charlamagne the God gave him Donkey of the Day. So we're going to take a gander and listen to both. But first, let's see what Steven Jackson had to say. And if you don't know, Steven Jackson is close with the George Floyd family. So when he heard this bullshit, he had to go off. Now, well, he did come back around and say, hey, I talked to Lil Yachty, we're good. At the end of the day, fuck all that. He shouldn't have said that bullshit. I don't want to hear that. I really don't. I really don't. Oh, me and Lil Yachty talked. There's nothing he could have said that would have made that right. No, oh, it's just content. Oh, it's just rap. None of that is going to make that line make sense. It just doesn't. But anyways, let's listen to Steven Jackson's initial response. We're here for the violation. We're not here for the kumbayas on the bullshit. And on top of that, y'all see Steven Jackson kumbayan. Hey, niggas that was mad at me and said I was defending Neon. Go get mad at Steven Jackson for saying, hey, well, you know, I talked to Lil Yachty. He didn't really mean that much by it. Blah, 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 blah. No. Like, hell no. Fuck that nigga. And you need to be saying fuck that nigga too. Are you aiding and abetting the nigga that said that bullshit? Y'all need to be on Steven Jackson's ass right now. I'm just saying. Anyways, let's move. Let's watch the clips.
Doing the right thing. I'm winning. I'm just trying not to pay attention to you idiots, man. But like, it's just hard, bro. Like, Lil Yachty, bro. You've been whacked, my nigga. But you think you saying George Floyd name and trying to use his name in the bar that's gonna make people like your whack ass music, my nigga? That shit weak. Y'all the only era that feel like demeaning the dead and saying that shit is cool, my nigga. It ain't. It ain't. And it's me and the whole Third Ward and the whole Houston, Texas riding behind G, man. Don't ever say his name, bro. None of y'all knew G. Nothing about him. But y'all want to say his name for clout. Put a knee up on his neck. I do joke. That's some weak ass shit, Yachty. But let somebody die in your family. We gonna do a whole skit about it and see how funny it is, bro. Cut that shit out, man. It's only you whack Sambo ass niggas that do shit like that.
And that's crazy. If Steven Jackson were to do that, niggas would be upset. Niggas would be mad. Why are you dissing my family, bro? Why are you dissing mine? You know? And, of course, with this George Floyd thing, controversy ensues, and the rage baiters come out. You know, the Neon said something, I think. Well, not Neon. I'm not going to throw Neon under the bus. Leave Neon alone. Sneeko said something about this. Said leave Lil Yachty alone. He liked the bar. And Charleston White, you know what he did. I think because him and Steven Jackson had beef. That's why he went off how he did. But regardless of it, yeah. When the shoe was on the other foot, it probably would have been a problem. But seeing the fact, you know what, I'm not even going to make that joke. Let's listen to what Charlamagne has to say.
August 15th goes to Lil Yachty. Now, you know on Fridays, I like to open up the phone line so that people can give folks the credit they deserve for being stupid, unless something is on my spirit. And today, something is on my spirit, okay? I was minding other people's business on social media last night, and I saw that Lil Yachty was receiving some backlash after appearing on a live stream with Plaque Boy Max. Now, I don't pay attention to backlash, okay? Outrage on the internet, because y'all always fake mad about something online. All right? The fuel that keeps the internet going is anger. That's why you have individuals who make a living rage baiting, okay? Rage baiting you digital D-heads, because they know the fastest way to garner engagement
by the way.
is to say something to make you mad.
That's what it is.
So I listened to what everyone was upset about, and it was the first time in a while where I was like, oh, this is valid outrage, okay? I completely understand why folks is upset. See, Lil Yachty previewed a new song, and in that song, he had a lyric about the late George Floyd. Let's listen to the bar.
Wait for it. Wait for it. I tell you, I'm finna go break the bank for it. Put my knee up on her neck. I went George Floyd. I be tweaking and she gon' wait for me.
Play it one more time, please.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
And then I want to say this too. The bar really makes no fucking sense. I put my knee up on her neck like I'm George Floyd. No, Derek Chauvin put his knee on George Floyd's. So you're the cop, dumbass. These are the dumbass people y'all let rap. These are the niggas that y'all gave mics to and then tell them to put the fucking mic down. Miles, I'm going to tell you straight up, put the mic down. Please. For the love of God.
I tell you, I'm finna go break the bank for it. Put my knee up on her neck. I went George Floyd. I be tweaking and she gon' wait for me.
Put my knee up on her neck. I went George Floyd. Yachty, how you put a hole in your own boat? Okay, are you trying to sink the boat and drown? Like, damn.
The ship's already sinking.
No black solidarity. Is anything sacred? When we talk like that about situations like George Floyd, we make others comfortable to do it, and then we get mad when others disrespect us. I'm all for freedom of speech, okay? I don't have to agree with what you said, but I agree with your right to say it. But you know what else is free? Shutting the F up. Okay? See, I talk for a living. Have I always gotten it right? Absolutely not. But it's just some things you should know not to say.
And are you a professional rage baiter as well, Charlemagne? Yes, you are.
Okay, you should know not to play with somebody's loved one who the world watched die. Okay, Yachty, you are 27 years old, and you are not a stupid young man. In fact, you are very bright, okay? I've watched you in interviews. I've watched you conduct interviews. I've always thought that you had an empathy about you because of how you have been attacked in this culture called hip-hop, okay? People used to label you as the poster child for whack rappers, all right? Some still do. Was that fair? Probably not, but that's what it was, okay?
Shit.
I've seen you have empathy for Drake when Kendrick was busting his ass last year. So I ask a simple question. Would you write a bar about Kendrick molly-whopping Drake in their lyrical battle? Of course you wouldn't, because that's your man. You wouldn't want to hurt his feelings or his team's feelings. I got a better one for you. Would you write a bar about the tragic, senseless murder of the late, great Takeoff? Of course you wouldn't, because you would have empathy for him and how he went out, okay? You would have empathy for his team and family. So why wouldn't you give George Floyd that same respect? Why disrespect that brother's family and friends like that? You said, put my knee up on her neck, I went George Floyd. So you decided to channel that racist-ass, cracker, Derek the Devil Chauvin, who killed George Floyd, okay? You watched that video that the world saw. The world saw Derek the Devil Chauvin kneeling on George Floyd's neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds. Watch that man take his last breath, calling for his mother. And you at the big age of 27 decided, you know what? I'm gonna put that in a bar. Even if your brain thinks it, immediately something gotta say, nah, that ain't it, okay? And no engineer, nobody in the studio said, nigga, no? What are you doing? Okay, this is why you can't have a bunch of yes men around you. You got to have somebody around to simply tell you no, and hell no, and F no. And I know folks is out there, but Charlamagne, you believe in freedom of speech? I do, but you are not free from the consequences of said speech. You can say what you want about anybody and anything, but you have to deal with what comes with that, because there's a cost to everything that comes out of your mouth. And before you speak, you should always ask yourself, am I willing to pay this price? Now, Steven Jackson from the All the Smoke podcast, dropping the clues bombs for the All the Smoke podcast. You already know he's stepping about George Floyd every time.
As he should.
Every time. Okay, he replied to Lil Yachty yesterday, and he had this to say. Let's listen.
And I'm just trying not to pay attention to you idiots, man. But like, it's just hard, bro. Like Lil Yachty, bro. You've been whacked, man. But you think you saying George Floyd name and trying to use his name in the bar that's gonna make people like your whack ass music, man? That weak. Y'all the only era that feel like demeaning the dead and saying that cool, man. It ain't. And it's me and the whole Third Ward and the whole Houston, Texas riding behind G, man. Don't ever say his name, bro. None of y'all knew G. Nothing about him. But y'all want to say his name for clout. Put him up on I do joy. That's some weak ass Yachty. But let somebody die in your family. We gonna do a whole skit about it and see how funny it is, bro. Cut that man. It's only you whack Sambo that do like that.
The only era that feel like demeaning the dead is okay. That is a very valid point. Lil Yachty, whether you realize it or not, everybody who knew George Floyd and loved George Floyd feels exactly like Steven Jackson does this morning. That line was corny. Okay, it was very coonish. All right, George Floyd got murdered, knee to the neck from Derek Chauvin, and you turned his death into a corny-ass rap bar. Okay, the bar don't even make no sense. You put your knee up on her neck, you and George Floyd. What you saying, you want to kill her? If you don't think you upset George Floyd's family, well, Lauren LaRosa got a statement from George Floyd's brother. Lauren, would you like to share what George Floyd's brother told you?
Yes. Terrence Floyd said to me he wants the lyric changed. He says, let his brother rest in peace. It has disturbed his family. People were sending him the clip all yesterday, so he had to listen to it, and it disturbed him a lot. He says it's super inconsiderate. Terrence Floyd also said to us that this generation doesn't pay attention to what they say. They just want to make a song and get it on the charts, and they feel like because of who they are, people will listen and accept it, and that's not right. It's super inconsiderate. You should think about what you're writing and make it make sense, because it impacts other people. He also has a message for Lil Yachty. He says, you know, if you're going to talk about George Floyd, let there be a better message behind George Floyd's name so that his legacy can live beyond the tragedy that Chauvin caused.
The best way to not have your peace disturbed is to not disturb the peace of others. Little Yachty, and to everyone who can hear my voice, please remember the simple golden rule we learned in grade school. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Okay, Yachty, you want respect, you got to give it. And the root of respect is not the full understanding of other people. It is the recognition of people's non-negotiable humanity. Please give Lil Yachty the biggest hee-haw.
Yep, he deserved it. Number one. And number two, hopefully, you know, I don't want to hear no more Lil Yachty raps. If I could be completely honest with you guys, it's a long list of rappers that I just don't want to hear rap anymore. I think God agreed. Either he agreed or he was like, Michael, you're wrong. I don't know. One of the two. But regardless of it, yeah, Lil Yachty, for the sake of all mankind, please put the mic down. Let me know what y'all think in the comments below. I am Savvy Mike, and this is I Am Savvy Mike TV, where I think Thor is outside of my garage right now. Peace.